Om Kalindi Fulla Kamale Madhavena Kridarata Brahmananda Namastubhyam Sadgurum Lokanayaka. Salutations to Brahmananda, who played with Krishna on the river Kalindi, dancing on that lotus. He is the leader of people and the real Guru. Today is Swami Brahmananda's birthday. And he was a spiritual colossus. Well, it doesn't happen in a day. There is a making of that spiritual colossus. For instance, Sri Ramakrishna, who used to train him, was very careful about how his actions and his words must tally. One time, he found a piece of a coin on the streets, and he was so delighted, he picks that coin and gives it to a beggar. And he comes and tells Sri Ramakrishna, saying, the person who doesn't eat fish, what's he doing in a fish market? See, you are not going to touch money. Why did you even pick it up? Why did your vision even go there? Why didn't you just let it go? So ordinarily, we will say, what's wrong with this? But he was getting this disciple ready for higher things. Another time, he said, what's wrong with you? I see a kind of a dark cloud over you. Have you done something wrong? So he was thinking, no. Have you told any lies? He says, no, I don't remember. And then he recollected, he was talking to a couple of friends and he told a fib. What we generally do. I say, oh, that's the reason why there's a dark cloud over you. I couldn't even see you. And he's saying, don't even tell a lie, even in joke. So here he was trying to orient him into this kind of a higher life. One time, he was more like a child with Sri Ramakrishna. Though he was about 17, 18, yet he behaved like a 3 or 4 year old. And he used to go and sit on Sri Ramakrishna's lap. Imagine an 18-year-old sitting on Sri Ramakrishna's lap. And at times Sri Ramakrishna used to carry him on his shoulder to go around. So, before Sri Ramakrishna could come, he took some butter and ate it, childlike. And Sri Ramakrishna goes, why didn't you wait for me? Come and give you the prasad. And he's saying, you better control yourself, okay? I don't want you to do things like this. And, he like as it was shrank into him. And he never, of course, repeated this. So again, here he was putting things in place for his disciple. One time he's saying, he was trying to meditate, and then he's saying, I just can't meditate here. I've been staying here with Sri Ramakrishna for so long, and I've been attacked by lust all these days. And then he comes to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna looks at him, saying, well, what's wrong with you? Then he tells him, can you cure my lust? People like, we want an increase in lust. This guy, Sri Ramakrishna just touches him, and that was that. It was over. So here we have the guru and the disciple interacting. The guru is sometimes like a loving mother and a chastising father. And yet, the guru has to be like a friend to this disciple. So one time, Sri Ramakrishna was lying down on his bed, and Raja Maharaj wanted something, a vision, and Sri Ramakrishna wasn't willing. Think, keep quiet. So he got so annoyed, he takes that container of oil and smashes it on the wall, and he walks out. And as he's walking out, he crosses the gate, and then he just couldn't move one step. He sat down, weeping. Sri Ramakrishna sends his nephew Ramlal, go and get him. And he brings him back. You see, you can't leave me. You see, I've drawn a circle around here. You can't leave me. They're saying, see, there's a definite benefit in serving a holy person. Okay. So he was massaging with oil Sri Ramakrishna's feet. First he was, as I say, he was reluctant, and then he said, and as he was massaging, he saw a divine feminine, a girl, about 11 to 12 years old, moving around Sri Ramakrishna and entering into his body. And he gets into a kind of ecstasy. And after the ecstasy is over, he's saying, see, I told you, there's a definite benefit in serving holy people. One time, he comes and says, what happened to you? I see a kind of a dark net covering your mind. And he was meditating, and then he felt distracted. Now, for us, distraction is natural. It's only meditation which is sometimes rare in our lives. And then he says, nothing is happening to me here. I've been here for so long. Even though he has had these kind of experiences, yet, he was a very big receptacle. That is, he could contain many things within himself. So he comes and says, nothing's happening to me. I'm not acquiring anything. I've been here for so long. And then Sri Ramakrishna, he just touches him. And his kind of depressed state of mind leaves him. So after a few days, he was sitting down and meditating in the temple. And as he was sitting down meditating, he saw from the image of Kali the luminosity. And the books say, like 1,000 suns, that bright, that light emerging from the mother's image and coming towards him. And he was terrified. He got up and he ran. Sri Ramakrishna looked at him. You complain that nothing is happening, and then when something happens, you run away. Huh? This was his experiences. At one time, another time, he was again sitting and meditating, and his concentration had become deep. But at the same time, when concentration gets deep, a slight kind of obstruction will deflect you. And that's what was happening with his meditation. As he was meditating, then Sri Ramakrishna comes and says, see, this is your mantra and this is your chosen deity. And he showed him his chosen deity, God with form standing in front of him. Now, these powerful gurus can do that. And after this, it becomes very easy to meditate. You've already seen that figure of your chosen deity. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say that this Rakal, his name was Rakal Chandra Ghosh, and he was born some 40 miles from the main city, Calcutta, in a place called Shikra Kulingram. I've been there many times, and it's a very beautiful place, very spiritual. So his mother was Kailash Kamini, and his father was Anand Mohan Ghosh. They were very rich. They were kind of landowners, and his father was also a trader in many kind of essential commodities. So when he was 5, his mother passed away because she died giving birth to quadruplets. He used to be absorbed in a nearby temple of Kali and meditate. And he used to love to play and sing and garden and fish and all the usual things. But there was one part of him where he was always drawn towards spirituality. So this was his life in the village there. And then when he grew up to about 12 years old, he was sent to the school, to the city to study. It was there after a few years that he met Swami Vivekananda when he was young. And they both became great friends. When Sri Ramakrishna heard the name Rakal, that's the name of it's a cowherd boy. He said he was the playmate of Sri Krishna in his previous incarnation. And he is come again. And he also says, when he knows his old incarnation, he'll give up his body. So Sri Ramakrishna used to make it a point not to remind him of his antecedents. So we all have our own history. We all have we are not just come new year. So we've had so many, past events that have tagged themselves on us. At this point, he started practicing intense spiritual disciplines. And intense in a sense, not 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour in the evening or in the afternoon, night. No. He used to be absorbed in meditation for the greater part of the day, continuously. We sit down for 1 hour and our leg goes numb, and our back starts aching. So these guys had that kind of capacity. They were. And under the tutelage of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna used to teach him the various aspects of yoga and Vedanta. And he was a quick learner. In spiritual life, there are some quick learners and there are some slow learners and there are no learners. It depends on what's your kind of spiritual orientation is. So Sri Ramakrishna should teach him the various things. And then one time Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room, standing outside the room, and some people are coming to meet him. And then Sri Ramakrishna runs in his room and tells Rakal, "You handle these people. I don't want to talk to them." And then they had come for some medicine. Holy men there in India were supposed to have medicines and they could effect cures of various types. So somehow Swami Brahmananda, he dissuaded them from coming in and directed them somewhere else. So he's saying, "I saw their insides, covered with the gloom of tamas, darkness." So then he's saying, do you know how to read people, understand people? They no. So I'll teach you. And here it was Sri Ramakrishna who taught him how to understand people. And that helped him later as he became the leader of the president of the order, and to how to understand people, judge. They see the potential. It's not just judging and trying to criticize a person. It was judging the potential in the person. And this stood him in great, you can say, stead over the years. So we have him there with Sri Ramakrishna. At the same time, he was the boyish jealousy. Anyone else coming closer to Sri Ramakrishna wasn't really appreciated by him. So he tells the Divine Mother, Sri Ramakrishna tells the Divine Mother, take him away for a while. And then he went to Vrindavan and etc., etc. And then he came back. By the time the rest of the disciples had made their entry, Vivekananda and all these. So with Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda, he is considered, we see in his birth and how he grew up and also, he was considered an Ishvara Koti. Now, Ishvara Koti is the highest class of souls. They are born to teach religion. Ordinary people cannot do that religious teaching. These are the people who really teach religion. So these are, and Sri Ramakrishna had considered 6 of his disciples as Ishvara Koti. Ishvara Koti in the sense, they are like an incarnation. So that's the power they bring along with them. So one was Swami Brahmananda, one was Swami Vivekananda, obviously. Then there was Swami Niranjananda, Swami Premananda, and then we have Purna Chandra Ghosh also. So these were the Ishvara Kotis. One became a householder, the rest were. So these people had that tremendous spiritual capacity, but when they take a human body, they come with the normal human limitations, the weaknesses, and the human strengths also, not all the weaknesses. And they have to work through both these weaknesses and strengths and come and overcome all of them and then start teaching. We used to wonder, when we used to read these books, he is not satisfied with seeing an image of mother living. So one time there was one staff member in the temple complex who was ill, and there was no recourse to any kind of medication, anything. So Swami Brahmananda sat near his head and started repeating his mantra, placing his hand on his head. So after a while he saw a goddess coming. So she's come, the young girl. And he looks at her and saying, Mother, will this person survive? Yes, he will survive. And she vanishes. The next day that person becomes. Now, even after all, for us, that is enough. Oh, what more do you want? For them, this wasn't enough. Like I said, they had a greater capacity to kind of take in more and more. For us, it will be okay, but not for them. They had a greater role to play than us. So he used to be absorbed in meditation and japa. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, he was supposed to be my attendant and take care of me. Now instead, I'm taking care of him because he just can't take care of himself at all. Being absorbed in meditation means it's not only during time of meditation, but after meditation, the mind doesn't come down. You're always in that high state. And that was what he was undergoing during that time. So Sri Ramakrishna, you should take care of him. After Sri Ramakrishna passes away, all the young disciples, they band together in a monastery. And it is here again they find he's exhibiting his leadership qualities. Sri Ramakrishna says that, Rakal has a keen intelligence of a king. He can rule a kingdom if he wants. So Swami Vivekananda had heard this and then saying, okay, from tomorrow we are going to call Rakal Raja and king. And that's what his name stuck. So he was now their king. And he was a few months, you can say, younger than Swami Vivekananda. And he was born in 1863, Swamiji also. At this time, when they were practicing this, Sri Ramakrishna passes away and they go into this monastery and their intense practices. Like the entire day used to be spent in meditation. Late evening, Swami Ramakrishnananda, another disciple, somehow used to drag them out from their meditation and force them to eat something, and they used to do that and again get into meditation. So this was the power they were building up. They were not, or maybe they were aware that this power that's being built up is going to be kind of released in this world for the spiritual benefit of this world. And all of them were absorbed in this meditation, etc., etc. So, Holy Mother, for him, Holy Mother was like his mother. Yet at the same time, whenever he used to go to Holy Mother, he used to actually shake and get so frightened. And Holy Mother used to say, "My child, how are you?" "I'm fine, Mother." And he used to prostrate somehow and then run away, scoot. For ordinary people like us, oh, it's Holy Mother, here there she is. Okay. They knew what she really was. And though Holy Mother looked at him like, for Sri Ramakrishna, Rakal was his kind of child. One time, what happened was, he was sitting down and meditating, and he saw the Divine Mother Kali place a child in his lap. And then, saying, "This is your son." "Me? My? How? Saying, "Don't worry, this is your spiritual son." And thank God, he was relieved. So when he first saw Rakal coming to Dakshineshwar via kind of a small boat, he's saying, "Oh my God, this is that same boy." He had another vision of Rakal as a playmate of Krishna. Both Krishna and he, as young boys, they were dancing on a big lotus flower that was floating down the Ganges. And he knew him. This is the boy. So he is considered the mind-born son of Sri Ramakrishna. Manas Putra, they say. And so Holy Mother also treated him similarly. But over the years, he understood that this Holy Mother is not this simple village woman that everybody recognizes her. Of course, nobody recognizes. She used to put a veil over her. One time, they were in Benares, and Raja Maharaj, he never used to meet her every day. He used to come and inquire, is everything okay? The provisions are all right, and his mother's health is okay. And he used to make all the inquiries and then leave. One time, mother's attendant Golapma, she tells Raja Maharaj, mother asks, "Who is Holy Mother. And he says, and he began shaking, he's saying, and then, that kind of fit of weeping and laughter, etc. He's saying, Mother holds a key to the knowledge of Brahman. If it is not her will, nobody can get liberation. She is the Divine Mother herself. And then he runs away. He just couldn't control all the other emotions in him. So this was the veneration, not a veneration, the knowledge of who she was. And we have seen this also in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Now, according to the scriptures, the knowers of Brahman are the highest type of humanity. There is no one higher. They say even the gods have to bow down to them. These people who have reached that state. These knowers of Brahman used to quake in front of Holy Mother. And that tells us something about her real nature. So Swamiji, he used to just sprinkle Ganges water on him to purify himself. And then he's saying, others are saying, you might catch a cold sprinkling so much water over yourself. Say, I feel I'm not pure enough to go in front of Mother. This also used to happen with Swami Brahmananda. He used to be so overwhelmed with spiritual emotions when he said, don't you know who she is? She's the Divine Mother herself. She's there, come in this form. Thank God she has come in this form for all of us. So he had all his spiritual experiences, but he wanted to test himself, his spiritual experiences. And so in the old days, the monks used to take up the itinerant life, solely depending on God for everything. And that's what he was doing. So they go to Benares, from then they go to Omkareshwar. Omkareshwar is a place on the banks of the Narmada. So he had to take Holy Mother's permission. Okay, you can go. And then Swami Vivekananda's permission also. Okay, you can go. But you take another disciple, that is Swami Subodhananda, who will go and get some food for you. They have these almshouses there for the monks only. Because he knew that Raja Maharaj will not bother about food, etc. So Subodhananda used to collect alms and feed. He used to be absorbed in meditation, and so much at this place called Omkareshwar. There's a beautiful temple there. He experiences his first Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And he was in that Samadhi for more than 6 days, absorbed constantly. Then he was brought down. That Samadhi breaks. For us it is 6 days. For them, they have touched eternity. And that's, they transcend time. After this, he was again, now he has got the last word in spirituality. And yet, again, these people come and they start practicing meditation and japa, etc. And because of that experience now, it was very easy for him to just plunge into that meditation, very deep meditation. And this went on for years and years. He went to all the sacred places. Now, what happens is, when such people, they go to a place, they inject their own spirituality into that place. And they awaken that dormant spirituality which is there. At the same time, when he used to travel to major pilgrimage centers, like temples, etc., he used to see those very goddesses and gods there in the temple. Like one time, he goes to one temple of the Divine Mother, Kanyakumari, the southern tip of India. And he was like, trying to suppress his laughter. And then somehow, then later on he's saying, I saw Mother as a young girl there, and she was giggling. And I also feeling that I should giggle and laugh. So everywhere, wherever he went, to all these places, those particular deities, they used to manifest themselves. In a way, he was again reawakening those places of pilgrimages. Why is that necessary? That is necessary for the greater good of the spiritual benefit for all of us, for generations. And this is how these people don't need to go to the temples and places of pilgrimage or do all these things. They do it for us. So this spiritual Colossus, we've seen, they live their life for the benefit of others. Others, what's the point in going to these places and far off places which has got no relationship to anything around? They used to go and awaken that place. That every place has its dormant spirituality that needs to be awakened, and he was in that process. He traveled the length and breadth of the country, first as an itinerant monk, and then later as the president of the order. So wherever he went, and now after all these years, after more than a century, you can see that these places are vibrant with spirituality. Particularly where, like Raja Maharaj went, where Swami Vivekananda went, Shri Ram Krishna went, Holy Mother went. These places have become alive. And a person's dormant spirituality is quickly awakened in these places. So he was traveling about like this. One time, Swami Premananda was in Belur Math, and he was the manager looking after it. There was a young monk who was angry at everything. And he had that temperament was a choleric temperament. So Swami Premananda caught him one day and pulled him to Raja Maharaj, saying, "You just place your hand on his head and take away his anger." He was angry. He scolds everybody. He scolds even me. So Raja Maharaj said, "Oh, today I'm not feeling well. My hand is, no, I'm not feeling well. You," telling Premananda, "you place your hand on his head and calm him down." Saying, no, you do it. So he takes that young monk's head and pushes it down near Raja Maharaj's feet. Like, hey, there it is. So Raja Maharaj is compassionate. He starts, touching his head and rubbing his hair and all that. And Swami Premananda sees this. He pushes that monk away, saying, "Enough." Now he puts his hair down. "Bless me." And Raja Maharaj blesses him. And then Premananda, he makes a big noise saying, "Come everybody." He called all the monks in the monastery, "Come and get blessed today." Raja Maharaj is in the state of a kind of a Kalpataru, that is the one who gives. All the monks came in and they were blessed and they felt so elevated. And then there was one person who was late and he comes in. Raja Maharaj already had gotten up from that place, and the other monks and all were ecstatic, saying, this latecomer comes in and say, Swami Premananda said, "Bless him." No, the power that had come is now gone. Okay. Yeah. So this is what. So this power used to come in waves in him, and when it used to come, he used to distribute it to all of us. That was what actually he was doing in all his travel. He traveled extensively, and when Swami Vivekananda started this organization, and then he says, see, since Sri Ramakrishna says he is our king, we will make him the president. And there was no kind of dissension there. Everybody agreed. So for 20 years, he traveled, as I said. His method of, you can say, solving problems was easy. Once there were the two warring factions in a particular center. And Swami Turiyananda and even Shardananda couldn't handle it. So Raja Maharaj said, don't do anything. I'm coming over. And then he comes. He does not ask anything. What's the reason of the two factions quarreling? He just said, come and sit down and meditate with me morning and evening. And they used to do, all the monks used to sit down, and after a few days, all their animosity and all the differences vanished away. They say, what happened? Why were we quarreling amongst ourselves? This was Raja Maharaj's way of neutralizing all troubles. Come and sit down and meditate with me. And then he used to, through his meditation, he used to dissolve all the inner defects, obstacles, etc. Sri Ramakrishna had kind of given him that, conferred on Raja Maharaj his own powers. And Raja Maharaj was conferring his powers. Most of the first Swamis who came to the US here were all Raja Maharaj's disciples. Yeah. Including Swami Vivedishananda, who started this center. So that's why we have, in fact, Swami Trigunatitananda in San Francisco, he built a special house, a building and a house, so that he could bring Swami Brahmananda here. But it never happened. It would have been a great benefit for the people of this country. So this was how he used to go about and spread his spirituality. Wherever he went, people were struck at him, his great spirituality. And he had a royal appearance also. So one time, he was in Benares and he's saying, I was dressed up like that, great Swami. And then he said, what's this? People staring at me and this and that. Spiritual persons, So he saw a person sweeping the courtyard, the path outside the temple of Vishwanath. So he said, give me that broom. And the other royal entourage, they was horrified. What? Saying, don't worry, you give me the broom. That person is, no, I will not give you the broom. He gives him a coin and saying, and he sweeps the entire path, the courtyard and everything. Saying, the joy I got from this was tremendous. It was like seeing the Lord himself. So you had this humility also there. It is not that, yes, he was in that high elevated state of mind, and he was careful about each and everything. And he was part of his, very humorous. When there was a trustee meeting, he was always absent. Why? No, I'm going to sit down and fish. You should sit down with a fishing rod. I think there's a meeting there. He used to sit down and fish there. And then he was asked, why? Saying, see, at times I see it is the Lord himself everywhere. And I cannot operate on the ordinary level by talking about this agenda and that solution and that problem. No, I cannot. So I try to avoid that meeting by sitting down with a fishing rod there. He's not interested in catching the fish, only trying to avoid that. At times, there's somebody waiting to see him. And what? They see him coming after some time. I'm sorry, I'm late and all. But, I was busy playing cards. But, and his manner of saying, you used to disarm everybody. We're seeing the humorous side of him. Like, we think that a spiritual Colossus will be like that. But he was intensely human. One time a young boy comes in and he wants to become a monk. And he has heard about Swami Brahmananda. And then he comes, say, I'm looking for Swami Brahmananda. And Brahmananda is pacing up and down. So you see that Swami there, the thick-set Swami there sitting, Swami Shivananda. He is Swami Brahmananda. So that boy goes to Swami Shivananda and is saying, what are you looking for? Swami Brahmananda. That Swami told me that you are Swami Brahmananda. No. He is Swami Brahmananda. The boy is confused. He gets up and goes to Swami Brahmananda. So no. He is actually Swami Brahmananda. You don't know. Monks, they try to hide themselves and they try to dissuade you from knowing them, who they are. Go and catch hold of his feet and pray for his grace and forgiveness. So this boy again goes and holds Swami Shivananda's feet saying, Swami, you are Swami Brahmananda. He told me. Say, you rascal, you don't know. He is Swami Brahmananda. So after a couple of times going up and down, Raja Maharaj felt so compassion. Okay, come, sit down. You join the monastery as a monk. So this was Swami Brahmananda. I remember one time there was another monk who was telling us, he had high diabetes, but he couldn't avoid sweets. So somebody had sent a kind of a packet of sweets, and it was kept in a place where he couldn't reach. His attendants knew. So one day, and Raja Maharaj had that great spiritual insight. He saw a lot of sweets there. And then he takes that whole packet of sweets and finishes it off. And what he does is, he dips his fingers like in the syrup of those sweets, and as it were, it kind of impresses that place, leaves the impression of those like cat's paws. So Swami Premananda comes and he finds the sweets missing. He's scolding that attendant, who has taken all the sweets? And then they see the cat, the semblance of a cat paws around. See, the cat came in and ate everything. And Raja Maharaj is sitting down meditating, saying, no, Swami, he used to call him elder brother Baburam, because Baburam Maharaj is slightly elder. No, the big fat cat is me. So that was Swami Brahmananda. At one time, there was another incident, just to kind of give you how spontaneous and natural they were. He used to have a small bundle of cloth, and he used to open it gingerly, and with all veneration, he used to kind of look into that and place whatever was there on his head and chest, and he used to sometimes weep. And he used to not let anybody touch it. One time his attendant was kind of curious. What is this? Every day he does that. There must be something, secret spirituality in there. So without telling Raja Maharaj, he opens that and sees a small dictionary and another small book. What? And then he bundles it up and says, I saw what is there in that bundle of cloth. I thought it was something big, something spiritual, some relic. And then Raja Maharaj became very grave. Those books belong to Swami Vivekananda. And it reminds me of him. when Swami Vivekananda passes away, he says, it's like I see that the whole of the Himalayas has just disappeared in front of my vision. This was a love. And Swami Vivekananda says, anything happens, Raja will never abandon me. He will never become a turncoat. And that's why that full reliance, and they were like together since they were both boys together. And till the very end, they relied on each other and helped each other. And not only that, they built up this spiritual power that Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother left for us. They channelized that power around so that it will be easily digestible to us. When they see a person like this, quite contented and happy and intensely human, and when they used to sing and dance, he used to lose himself. All his, you can say, great spirituality, people come and they want to say, Raja Maharaj. He's behaving like an ordinary person. That was his greatness. And that was what he showed, that a spiritual person has to be natural. Extremely natural. So this was how, towards the end, he had a few kind of reminders of his divine nature. As somebody sang a song, and he used to get into that high spiritual mood. But there was a kind of a small kind of curtain, a kind of obstruction that never let him know fully. One time, Swami Shardananda was writing his the biography of Sri Ramakrishna called Divine Play. And he mentions this incident that Sri Ramakrishna says if he knows what his past life was, he will not stay even for a moment. So Swami Premananda saw the manuscript and saying, what are you doing? If he reads this, he is going to give up his body. And immediately he deletes those things from the first manuscript. As towards the end, he was getting his inclinations over and over again. There was this, and then somebody came and sang a song about Sri Krishna and his cowherd friends, and that was that. He was reminded of it. And towards when he was dying, he's saying, I'm floating on the leaf of Brahman. And then he says, he's uttering, God is real. Ramakrishna as an incarnation is real. And then he says, put the anklets on my feet. Yeah, can't you see Sri Krishna has come and he's holding my hand. He's asking me to join him in dance. And then he had the last vision of him dancing with Sri Krishna. And when, in the scriptures, the description is there. It's a beautiful dance that they used to do when they were together, Krishna and he, in Vrindavan. So he had a vision again after that. And then he says, my play is done, over. And he gives up his body. That was happened in 1922. So this was a life. And, we think that they give up their spiritual bodies. They don't. They give up their physical bodies, but they keep their spiritual bodies. And many people have seen them, not only seen them, they are there. They come in order to first awaken and help us reach that spiritual goal, which these people have. So their visions, their spiritual experiences, their spiritual disciplines are meant not for them, but for all of us. Because they have attained that goal already. They do it for the collective. And this was his life. So in the spiritual realm, he is the king. Swami Vivekananda used to, in fact, he was, of a different character, Swami Vivekananda. You say, anybody coming to ask questions about spiritual life, you go to Raja. There's a dynamo there of spirituality. You go to him. And he used to send people to him. And Raja Maharaj, as I said, he was trained to understand people on all levels. And he helped them. And that was his life. The one of being a guru, a Sadguru, as they say. He was the Sadguru. And so that's why in our tradition, he is the Sadguru. He is the true Guru. And the leader of the world. Leader of the world in spirituality. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Next, yeah. Do you have any questions here coming up? No, there's nothing here. Is anyone here, sir? Yeah, it's a remarkable life. Somehow, we have not been able to kind of make this great life more prominent. We ought to do that. So, we are life of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda is so glamorous and so this. But he was always as the in the wings, always waiting there. Today, as you know, that hundreds of people, they have been benefited by his spirituality. He has worked for us. Okay, there's only thank yous here. Shanti, 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 Hari Om Tat Sat, Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.